once before for like 3 months or something, and it never started feeling better. So I'm like, but
Sink. Yeah.
drugs.
Drugs. Should I leave that rant? I had to go hard drugs for like
No,
5 months.
no, no. Cut all that. Cut all that. They can't know.
I'll be like, I had to go off beep. It'll be like a
Yeah, I was
censor.
gonna
I
say
had to
you
go
beep it.
off
Yeah,
beep for like 5 months, and I
it's
don't
not the
know.
internet's business what drugs I am on. All right,
On
I'll
controlled
spill my heart out, but
substances.
you don't get to know that part.
Cam is on controlled substances. She's on that stuff.
I'm on that stuff. Um, and that stuff is interacting with other stuff, and that's about as specific as I'll get with it.
Remember
Um,
that '90s show Saved by the Bell when that girl was like addicted to caffeine pills?
yeah. I
That's that.
was like, I'm so
I'm so
excited.
excited.
I'm so scared.
That's Cam right now.
It's me.
And then, wild that girl went on to do Showgirls. We watched that with Danny B. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, I forgot about that.
No, we didn't watch that. No, me and Noob watched that, and then I think I was like, "Yo, Danny B, you need to watch this. This is a Danny B movie." And
Yeah.
she was like, "Yep, that's so campy." So,
It's so campy. That's so funny.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
for the algorithm, smash that like button. Controlled substances.
Yes.
Uh,
Last
we're in here,
episode
man.
we were talking about drugs in some capacity. This episode we're talking about drugs in some capacity, but
We're
in a
always
different
record.
capacity. Hmm?
We're always recording right when I get home from work, and I'm like going to go to sleep immediately after. So I'm always like,
You're all-
I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
But yeah. So unlike other episodes, there's actually like pressing matters to talk about. Like
Hmm.
we're not just trauma dumping for
Yeah.
for for an hour and a half. We're in here, man.
We're in here.
I wrote things. I wrote the wife drugged case.
Oh, are we gonna
Weird.
talk about that?
I
Okay.
don't know.
Oh,
That
you're
could
reading the list. Okay, yeah. Go for it. Go for
weird
it.
Godfather plot lines. I'm reading that Godfather book,
Right.
and there's some weird plot lines going on. And
Hmm.
okay, we'll have to get into this later. But you know that what I'm like, can you really spoil the Godfather? Hey, I'm assuming you're coming from my channel and
Hmm.
you're a person alive. You've seen the Godfather, but you know how
Right.
Michael's wife gets blown up in that movie.
Hmm.
His like,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that girl,
In
that
the second one,
actress.
or is that the
Yeah,
first one?
well, that was the first one. That
What? Okay,
actress
they've already
was
blended together.
you know how she had like a topless scene. That was like the only topless scene. That she was 15 years old in that movie.
Wait, the character or the actress?
The actress.
What? That's crazy.
Because I'm reading the book, and the way it's written, it points out that this girl is a teen. It doesn't
Uh huh.
specify. And Michael's like desire for her is more. I mean, it's love, but it's more like she's a young thing that
She's like a
Michael wants to
conquest.
possess and own. Like
Yeah.
she sees like the youthful purity of her, and like she like it. Michael is like his whole time in Italy in that book. I'm like, Michael is creeping, bro. He's
Yeah.
out here like I relate to the old Italians who see their girls and want to keep them locked away as a prisoner for themselves or something like.
Hmm.
And it kept saying that she is a teen. So I was like, how old was that actress? Whoa, 15.
That's crazy. I can't believe that's not like talked about more.
Well, I
Or is
guess
this one
it
of those
was.
things where it's like, oh, they never taught us that in history, and then it's like they were, you just weren't paying attention. Like I
Well,
don't
I
really
guess
father
legally,
follow
you
Godfather lore.
you
Hmm?
can show child nudity in movies, and the where it was filmed. I guess the location it was filmed. She was
Like
within like
of legal age or
of
whatever.
legal age to be portrayed naked on screen. Like it was I think it was filmed in Germany or something. I don't know. Like that like their scenes. But
Mm-hmm.
that actress was 15. She was 16 when the movie came out, but 15 during recording. Which I mean, that's
Ew,
book
and she
accurate.
kissed Al Pacino.
Who was 30? He was 30 in
Uh,
Godfather.
that's actually. Oh, that actually. Wait, what was the age difference in West Side Story? The new one. Maybe it wasn't that big. Maybe I'm. Wait, hold on. Um, you could keep talking while I try to figure this out.
But dude,
3 years
weird stuff.
ago.
Michael's whole time. But I guess the point of him being on that on like Italy, that was kind of him becoming a mobster. Like it was kind of him going into that like going into the darkness a little bit. So I guess that was the I don't know. I feel like it did make it seem like the relationship was really a positive thing, I guess, but
Hmm.
it was weird. it,
Yeah,
it was
that's
freaking me
bizarre.
out, bro.
Oh my lord.
But yeah, that girl was 15. We were looking at 15-year-old nudity. We were in there looking at
And
some
we were doing it
15
on
year
camera.
Yeah.
We're incriminated, as are the millions of people who watched that movie, but
Yeah.
we
And I also
documented
wrote
ourselves doing it.
I wrote
Hmm?
why lowercase all the time. This is I wrote
Oh?
why lowercase all the time. Why is this a thing online? Oh yeah, and I
Two
wrote
Scoops writing about my texts, yeah. Hmm?
Russia sponsorships.
Oh, I thought you meant why lowercase all the time in The Godfather, and I was like,
Oh
that's
no.
an interesting touch. Um,
No, I mean why is everyone on social media always in lowercase all the time? Like what is this, man? What's
I do
going
I
on here?
I was just talking to someone about that. Like, I have some thoughts on why that is the case, but we can go down the list. We can. Are we going to open with the the
The
wife
wife
thing?
drugged? Well, what's the lightest of these topics, I guess?
It's definitely not that one. I was telling you though, like the other day when that story was kind of coming out, I spent at least an hour after I woke up just in bed scrolling through like different stories about different men abusing their like female
Yo,
family members because I was just getting linked from one to the next. And I was like, this is not,
yo.
I don't usually do this. Like, I'm not like one of those like true
True
crime
crime.
girlies. Like, that's not me. I know that's problematic. I don't do that. But then I was just like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I can't read this. This is whatever. But,
What's that one rock star who was like smashing his daughter? Was he in the Mamas and Papas or something?
oh,
He was like with
maybe?
his daughter for like 10 years or something. It was a weird
I don't know, actually. I don't know who you're talking
if I
about.
just Google Mamas and Papas incest, I don't think the right things are gonna are
Maybe,
gonna pop
probably,
up.
to be honest.
But it was like you know those like 50s crooner
Uh huh.
groups. Mamas that had an incestuous relationship with his daughter.
Uh oh.
Okay, this is a dark. Do we do we want to jump in?
I don't even, what do we even contribute to this discourse? Like, hey,
So
that was bad.
that was pretty bad. So what's with the lowercase text all the time, Cam? What's the
Okay.
deal?
So I was, okay, this is maybe a weird way of framing it, but I was talking about how, like, no, we're actually not even going to go to that framing. We're just going to talk about why do people type in all lowercase? The most surface level thing is that it takes less effort, but it also, most people have auto capitalization
Do
on
you not
their
have auto
devices.
capitalization on? I
I
keep that
don't.
on, bro.
I don't
I
have auto
keep it on.
capitalization. I don't have autocorrect. I don't have like any of that on.
No autocorrect? I be
So,
autocorrected, bro.
oh no,
I
I
would
had none of
seem
that.
illiterate without auto. I don't even know how to spell words without autocorrect. I got autocorrect on my computer. I have that Grammarly
That's
thing
crazy.
downloaded where
Hmm.
I'll type something and then I just click it and it fixes itself. Like I'm not dealing with this, bro.
I recently got, not even that recently, but I got this like note taking application on my computer that automatically has like auto capitalization, autocorrect, and I was so thrown off by it because I haven't like encountered that in so long. I was like, what is this? How do I turn this off? But okay, so then beyond the functionality of it, is it a stylistic choice? And if it's a stylistic choice, why?
Why?
And my thought,
You've seen the Taylor
discussing
Swift
my,
song titles. You've seen
oh,
the
true.
Olivia Rodrigo song titles.
So then I was thinking about like, okay, something that struck me is there's this MSNBC host named Ari Melber, and I don't really watch like the news, but occasionally I'll like check in with Ari Melber, and I looked at his Twitter, and it's in all lowercase, and I was like,
Oh,
that's interesting. Like I've never seen like a mainstream journalist tweet in all lowercase.
He's one of
And
them.
then I'm like, okay, all lowercase is sort of a signifier of like left leaning
Is it?
views. In my experience, I don't, but it's also like the other angle of it is that I know people who generally don't type in all lowercase except on Discord. Like I have
Just
people
on
who I will
Discord?
talk with on different mediums, and then only on Discord do they type in all lowercase. And that sort of goes back to like Discord naturally doesn't have auto capitalization the way that
Oh.
most like messaging apps do. And so what did that have to do with anything? Oh, that that I think there are like Discord is a meeting place for lots of different types of communities, and so like there are plenty of right wing Discord servers. And I actually, I believe it or not, have not really been in any right wing Discord servers,
I'm
but
surprised you haven't been a spy infiltrating one.
honestly, I am too. That I have never like infiltrated a right wing Discord server, but I don't know. I don't know if they do all lowercase there. I'm trying to think on like 4chan and like 8chan and Gab and those types of things. Do they type in all
Do
lowercase?
you
I
be on the
think
Chan? Are you on the Chan?
I am not on the Chan. Um,
I used that was like the first social media I ever used, if you
I'm
consider that.
occasionally on the Chan, but I don't like frequent it. I'm more. That's the kind of thing where I'm like, all right, what's going on the Chan? What are people talking about over there? I got to
when
tune
we
into
were
the
like
discourse.
when we were like 15, 16, posting
Hmm.
videos of us playing video games on the internet, I
Hmm.
remember people posted about us on 4chan. They're like, look at these
That's crazy.
racial slurs.
Yeah,
But they were
my.
like, but they're funny though. So I was like,
Mhm.
hey, we
I'd
got
heard about
okay.
4chan in like I don't know elementary school maybe, but I
You're
didn't really
young.
like know what it was. And then in middle school, my friend and I found this like 4chan collection of Big Bang Theory memes where it was just like I can't even they were so bad. I looked them up because I was just talking to someone about this about how like my understanding of 4chan was first that like it was a really dark place, but then the only experience that I had with it was these Big Bang Theory memes. So then I was like, okay, it just seems like a place that people go to make like jokes. And they would be like these really poorly constructed Big Bang Theory comics where it would be like, hey Penny, do you know how to do science? And then Penny would be like, no. And then he would be like, banana. Like it was always some word other than bazinga. Um, and like that was the main punchline was he would be like Bepzinki or like hydrangea. Like it would just be whatever. So my friend and I thought these were like peak comedy when we were, I don't know, 10 or 11.
That's
And
10-year-old humor. I feel like that's what the
yeah.
Big Bang Theory caters to. If you're chuckling at the Big Bang Theory, you're either like a middle-aged mother or like a
Mhm.
child.
Yeah. But in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I feel like these weren't being made by other 10-year-olds because like 10-year-olds aren't using 4chan. They aren't like posting on 4chan in my maybe they are, I don't know. But I feel like these were made by like adults, which is insane because I remembered them being like sort of funny in hindsight. And then I looked at them and I was like, these are like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't believe I used to find these funny. All of this is to say that I feel like, bar some certain exceptions, typing in all lowercase is sort of a signifier of being like countercultural. I think of like E. Cummings, who is like this writer slash poet who would deliberately flout rules about like capitalization and punctuation. Um, and on the other hand, I'm overanalyzing all of it. But this is where, oh God, I didn't even tell you about this class that I'm in where we spent a whole class period. And also, it was like an assignment that we had before analyzing an episode of Beavis and Butthead. And I was like, this is insane. I was like, I understand what point you're getting at here. The professor's really interesting. The material in the class is really interesting. And I understood that he was using like Beavis and Butthead as sort of a vehicle to like reach a broader point. But I was like, oh my God, we don't need to focus on. He's like, let's look at the mise en scène of Beavis and Butthead. We're looking at like the first frame that shows like the school, and he's like, I if I can find my notes, he's like, what does like school represent? It's like it's a place, it's a sacred like area designated for education, and like Beavis and Butthead are like, I'm actually going to pull up my notes on this because I had to write about it. I'm going to read you what I wrote.
You had to write about Beavis and Butthead.
I was like, this feels like a shit post, and it feels like that. It reminded me of that. Like, to be fair, you have to have a really high IQ to watch Rick and Morty. But okay, here's what I wrote. Um, the readings, and this is a little bit long. It's not that long. Okay. The readings in week 2 seem to expand upon the aforementioned notions of a savage side to humans, examining the grotesque image of the body. Bakhtein's idea of the grotesque is rooted in his study of Rabelais. The essential principle of grotesque realism is degradation, bringing everything that is considered noble and ideal down to a material level. Beavis and Butthead visually exhibit signs of the grotesque with their comically large noses and mouths perpetually ajar. For Bakhtin, the grotesque body is one that is open, incomplete, exaggerated, and constantly in a state of transformation. It emphasizes the body's material and visceral functions: birth, death, defecation, consumption. Butthead, being stabbed in the eye and gushing blood, further embodies this idea: an orifice secreting bodily fluids, the delicate eye becoming a visceral symbol of violence. Furthermore, the character's crude humor, reveling in the base desires like fart jokes and adolescent awkwardness around sex, operate within a framework similar to that of carnivalesque humor. To Bakhtin, the carnival is a temporary world where the usual structures of power, authority, and propriety are suspended. In Rabelais' work, kings, judges, and academics are often the targets of ridicule. Throughout No Laughing, Beavis and Butthead's teachers and principals are portrayed as caricatures, undermined by and powerless in the face of their irreverent students' lowbrow humor.
And you wrote this?
And I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is crazy.
Oh
This is so gonna have people being like, college is a cesspool of nothing. But it's like, okay, most of the class isn't like this, but this one assignment, I was like, is he fucking with us? Like, is this a joke? Like, am I playing into this joke? It was so, it was, I don't know. So that's a whole other tangent, but I was just like, this was really weird. And again, the class is interesting and we're learning a lot, but that one day I was like, what are we doing here?
The only good thing about that Beavis and Butthead is that it spawned one of my favorite shows, Daria. I watched Daria
Oh, it
so
did?
much. Yes, Daria is a character from Beavis and Butthead.
I have never watched Beavis and Butthead. I was so not interested in it. I didn't know Daria was good. Okay, fun.
Daria, but Daria is a completely different vibe. I assume you've
Yeah,
probably
for
seen
sure.
Daria.
I've seen
Yeah.
a little bit of Daria.
I literally,
I've
I
always wanted to watch it, but I just never like actually did.
you would like Daria. I feel like you would definitely. It's like a very cynical, like a type of. I feel like Daria is you. Like.
Yeah, when I was younger, like middle schoolish age, I like used Pinterest a lot, and I would get a lot of in my Pinterest feed like stills and like quotes from Daria, and I was like, this show looks fun, I should watch it, and then I just never did.
It's
But
like very it's like dry, very dry
yeah,
humor. Just looks at society and stuff. And
hmm
I saw that before I saw Beavis and Butthead. Then I saw Beavis and Butthead. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch this. But
maybe my professor was right. Maybe the creators of Beavis and Butthead do have like a broader
I don't think the creators of
understanding of
Beavis and
society.
I don't think they're the same creators. I don't know. I feel like it was a different
Yeah,
person that made Daria.
I wouldn't
But
doubt it.
wait, how did we get to this? Oh, from lowercase to
Oh yeah, lowercase counterculture over analyzing things, which is something that I'm sometimes up to do. But if I could go on one more quick tangent, I didn't understand there was like a Skibbity Toilet.
I've Noob has told me about that. Noob, the memes that Noob knows in his old man, not on the internet ways, and the memes that he never knows. The memes he brings up are memes I've never heard of, and the memes I bring up that are common are memes he's never heard of. Or
That's
it'll be
funny.
like 3 years later, he'll be like, "Yo, did you hear of this?" And I'm like, "Yo, like 3 years ago." He's like, "Oh, well, I just found this." Like, so he was telling me about this. I don't think I'm in the age range of 12 to 16 to identify
Oh yeah, that was
with
another thing
this.
that happened when I was um we're going on like fractal tangents here, but when I was driving home from school a few weeks ago, I stopped at um it was like late and nothing was open, so I wanted to get food and I stopped at the McDonald's kind of near my house, and there were probably 50 like middle schoolers in there. They must have been middle schoolers. They were like everywhere, and there was one employee who I know was the manager. And then I was talking to her. I was like, "Is it just you?" And she was like, "No, there's one other guy back there, but it's like just the two of us." And I was like, "This is crazy." And she's like, "It happens every Saturday night. Like they just flood in here." Because I pull up to the McDonald's and there's just all these bikes outside, and I was like,
Oh, that's how you know. That's how
"Yeah."
you know. I remember riding my
um,
bike to McDonald's.
yeah. But then I go in and she's like, "Yeah, they come in here and they like wreak havoc, and then I have to kick them out because they start like there was like a there was like a display of Happy Meal toys that they were like trying to break." And so she's like, "All right, out." And then like she's also saying that like she has to one by one keep track of like everyone who orders, because someone will order, like especially like a girl will order something and then a boy will like take her order
Oh,
when it comes out, so she has to like make sure that each person
yeah.
like shows their whatever. And then that happened where like I was waiting for my thing and this girl comes up and she's like, "He took my order." And she's like, "I Okay, you can have another McFlurry, like I don't care." But um yeah, they were trying to break this Happy Meal display, so she was like, "Out, all of you." But then as they're like walking out, one of them jumps like behind me, like runs into me and goes, "Ah, skibbity toilet." And I was like, "Okay." I just felt like such a boomer. I was like, get out of here. I don't want you here." But
Were you ever like this as a child? Were you ever cringe like in that way? And
not
that
in that way.
obnoxious. I know you were
No.
cringe. I feel like
I was cringe in a lot of ways.
you've detailed your cringe in a
Yeah. I've
in a
been
many
cringe in a
ways.
lot of ways. And my friends and I liked to, I don't know, hang out in establishments as people do, but we didn't like do it to the detriment of the building or the employees. It would just be like, I don't know. Bar the few times that, because I worked on like shows, when like the whole cast and crew would roll up to a Steak and Shake after the show and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like we're giving you so much." But we would all tip very well because we were nice people. Um but okay, so Skibbity Toilet. Have you ever seen one of those videos?
I've seen a still, and then I like I've never. I've there. These are the types of memes I avoid. I'm like, I just don't want to know about this. I,
Yeah, it's so
I
like,
carry on.
the first one is just like a singing head in a toilet or whatever, and then I think the second one is like three singing heads in a toilet, and then eventually they introduce like, I think they have like either TVs on their head or cameras on their head, or possibly both of those characters exist. I don't know. They started introducing a bunch of characters, but there are really long videos analyzing like the Skibbity toilet lore that I'm like, I don't care. I'm like,
The lore.
I really don't think that whoever made these, like, he's just like screwing around in SFM. I don't think that he had all these ideas. And it was something that I got really annoyed about also in my
I miss
junior year.
The Gary's mod era,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
think I actually don't know. I was gonna say something like, no, I don't know. But and then this will be the last thing, and then I'll let you talk again. But I do you. What is your experience with Emily Dickinson?
Uh, I watched some cringe movies written
Mm-hmm.
of her content. I feel like we watched a couple on the channel, and I was wondering. Every time I'm in the classic book section, I'm like, let me get one of these books. I just haven't read any yet, but that's
Does she
about
have
it.
books? I guess
I
franchise.
don't know.
I have a fraught relationship with Emily Dickinson because in my junior year AP English class, we talked about Emily Dickinson, and my teacher was like, "What's amazing about Emily Dickinson was that she was such a genius, but she didn't even know it." And I'm like, okay. So what we would do is we would read these poems that she wrote, and they said that she didn't like publish any of these. They just found them on pieces of paper strewn about her house after she died. And so there's like this Emily Dickinson dictionary online where you can go and like look up every single word in her poems, and then it'll be like, oh, you go to like the seventh definition of the word, and that's actually what she meant. So like there's this surface level reading, but if you go to the Emily Dickinson dictionary and look at definition 7 of this word, this is actually what she meant. And I'm kind of like,
Really?
look, that post where it's like maybe the curtains were just green or maybe whatever it is, where it's like, oh, English teachers overanalyze. I think that's dumb. I think that there's a level of analysis that is really helpful. There, like, what's his name? Faulkner, William Faulkner.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot of like thinking and research outside of just reading his books to understand what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're kind of puppeting around Emily Dickinson, looking at the stuff that she wrote and being like, well, what did she mean? There has to be a deeper meaning than that. And then like bending over backwards to find this meaning. And I'm like, it pissed me off so much. I was like, I don't understand why we're lauding this woman. Like, I don't get it. And so I've always wanted
Did
to
you
repair
enjoy her
my.
works? Did her
Oh my
works
God, they
bring a
pissed
smile to
me
you?
off. And I've always wanted to repair my relationship with Emily Dickinson because I'm like, I don't like how much resentment I have for this woman. It's not even her fault. It's not her fault that we were reading. Like, she doesn't know. She didn't intend to be
She
a
just wrote some
published poet.
stuff.
She
It's
just
like when
wrote some
someone
stuff.
dives into your hard drive and it becomes a masterpiece 50 years after you
That's what I'm
die.
saying. I'm like, I have like sticky notes and like notebooks all over my room full of like random ideas that I've had. And if someone after I died came in and was like, she was a hidden genius, I'd be like, no, what? Like, what are you talking about? So I'm sorry, Emily Dickinson. I don't know what your deal is.
Man,
Anyway, okay.
William Faulkner. I got this. I read As I Lay Dying, and I love
Hmm.
that book.
Yeah.
And people were telling me they were like that book is just as difficult as The Sound and the Fury. Now, no,
The Sound and the Fury is a
no,
trip.
I no, I read As I Lay Dying, and I understood it right away. But I'm
Hmm.
also really into like Southern Gothic literature. That's like the thing I've been reading a lot. So, like Cormac
Hmm.
McCarthy,
Hmm.
I read a lot of like Edgar Allan Poe. That's just what I do. Like I like it. I like just the like you look at the words and it's more about like how the words make you feel than like
Hmm.
what's actually in front of you. And As I Lay Dying, I loved it, man. I read
Hmm.
what's that one song that there was like a My Chemical Romance song that was based off of Faulkner's story. A Rose for Emily. What's that? If
Oh.
you marry me, that one song, would you marry me? That song to the end, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
To
say
the
there's a
end.
song called "A Rose for Emily" by the Zombies, I think,
Yeah,
which is
that's
presumably also
probably
based off
yeah.
of that. But yeah. Anyway.
But that
Okay.
like this elevator only goes up to 10. That
Hmm.
song, that song is about a Rose for Emily. I read a
Hmm.
Rose for Emily. I got it. I go to A Sound and the Fury. No, I don't know what's happening. I
Do I
got
have
to
that
like
here? I
I
can't
got
remember.
to page and this is not for lack of trying. Like I read till the last 30 pages of that book and I had no idea what was happening at all. This is how like a passage from The Sound and the Fury would be. And Caddy said, oh no, don't do that, Benji. Benji bad, Benji boy. Benji no. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, especially the Benji section. It's like, what is happening?
Caddy grabbed me with her legs, soft skin. I'd be like, what am I reading, bro? And then I understood that he's like a mentally challenged boy. I'm like, okay. Then I get to the Quentin section. I still don't know what's happening, and it makes a
It's
little
just
bit more
punctuated a little
sense.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes a little bit more sense, but I didn't know what was happening at all. There was like a
Yeah.
little section after like where I was like, okay, I think I get it, but without context of anything that happened before, I don't know who these characters are. I'm like they're at a funeral and for some reason everyone hates Caddy and like in the she's banished and I don't know what's happening at all.
Yeah,
But
if I hadn't read
I was
that under the
lost.
direction of someone who was like, all right, you need to have a piece of paper and you need to have a timeline and you need to have each of the characters and you need to be writing all this stuff as you read it. I don't know if I would have gotten through it because I was like, why are we doing all this extra work? And then I was like, oh, but
Yeah,
I love that book.
I one take jaked it. I was just reading it.
That's
I got
crazy.
I got to like 150 pages in a sitting, and I was like, okay.
That was the other thing she told. She was like, you're gonna be pretty far into this book before you have any idea what's going on. And I'm like, what are we reading?
I got
But
to the last 40 pages. No, I don't know what happened in that book.
yeah.
I don't know what the. I looked up online. Apparently, like there was someone Sean Kingston themselves. Some someone
Yeah.
you know. I was like,
Benji has a
okay.
pretty rough go.
I didn't know what was happening in that book, man.
I've been meaning to read As I Lay Dying
It's a
because
good book.
I've known a lot of people who really like it, but I just
It's.
never personally read it.
Did you read Flowers in the Attic?
Yes.
I liked
Oh
Flowers in the
yeah.
Attic. I
You do
like
like
that book.
Flowers in the Attic?
Yeah.
I remember reading that with someone. Everything goes back to middle school, but it was like in middle school, and it was all like shock value. It's like
I just
what?
liked it. Honestly, I just like the fact that I mean, I guess everyone knows the twist of Flowers. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not really a twist. It's like the
Yeah, it's kind of
incest
like a central.
is a central theme
Yeah,
of the book. But like I just like the way it was. I like Southern Gothic literature for its like I just like it's the way it portrays like a very decrepit, desolate South. Like a
yeah.
very like a like a gloomy. I just like that vibe of like a very gloomy South. Like I love
I
that.
I can't help but wonder if like rural Southerners like Southern Gothic the way that we do. Are they like, yeah, this is I don't know,
Like if you
but
read Cormac McCarthy books,
yeah.
like I started with Blood Meridian. That's the most. That's the most. There, I'm like, this is the godless literature
Hmm.
right here. This is just brutality. It'd be
There
like,
was this,
I rode, and the boy rode his horse, and he saw a tree with
yeah.
like dead babies nailed to it with the with stakes, and I'm like, okay, that's that's what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little how
but
like Flannery O'Connor was. I think she did more like short stories, but it would just be a lot of like, I don't know. It would just be very disturbing, but in a way that I liked a lot.
I don't know if
Um,
this is Southern Gothic literature, but I have it. I have the book. I'm using it to hold my camera right now. It's a The Bastard Out of Carolina. I don't know if that's what
Sounds
Carolina.
like it would be, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
another. It seems like incest is a pretty big theme in
We can't really
Southern
escape that in this episode. We
literature.
keep talking about it.
It
Let's
loops
see.
in.
Best
It's called.
semi autobiographical.
It's about like this girl getting assaulted
Oh
and stuff.
jeez.
Yeah, but it's a really good book though. But it's really dark.
Yeah, I'm just like skimming this summary and I'm like, "Oh, damn." But it looks like something I would want to read. Maybe I'll read that. I keep
But oh yeah,
getting
I
books and I just
guess
do not want
I
to read all
guess
of
we're
them.
into the back to literature. Let me
Oh,
talk about
right.
these weird these
Yeah.
weird Godfather plot lines. So you know how the movie begins? They're at like a wedding, and they're he's like, I come to America. He's like, these people, they disrespected my daughter. I want you to kill them, Don Corleone. That the
Hmm.
book pretty much begins with that guy at the court case. Like he's seeing like these white boys only get like probation for like
Hmm.
maiming his daughter. And then he's like, for justice I go to Don Corleone. And then immediately it goes to Sonny Corleone, who
I was gonna say,
uh,
is it switching points of view like
yeah,
throughout the? Okay.
the book isn't in first person. It'll be like this section is in that like the morticians. This
Oh, so
section
it's
is
in
in
third person, but it's following
yeah
different characters.
yeah. It'll kind like
Okay.
it'll be like this is the Brasi section. This is like different. There's like a whole section of like that girl that Sonny was cheating on his wife with. She plays a that Johnny Fontaine guy that was like the singer. He has a pretty crucial role as well. But it's more like it's not how the movie where you're following Michael pretty much. It's like jumping around to these different
Hmm.
people. But a key aspect of that book that author, Mario Puzo, he really wanted you to know that Sonny Corleone is packing. he Sonny Corleone is an endowed man. Like that is a key plot line that it was like in the blood flowed through his body and especially to his like it would be like it is a key apparently and everyone knows this like it's a well-known Corleone fact that Sonny is just out here blessed.
Yeah.
He's a blessed man. And that girl that he's cheating on his wife with, who is the maid of honor at his sister's
Hmm.
wedding, she is, how do I put this in a way that in a YouTube, this is also written in like old times when when kind of all writing was misogynistic, but
Hmm.
she is just so deep and loose that it that it fits perfectly.
Oh my god.
And this is a key plot line.
uh,
So they kind of they match.
right.
They
They match
match
each other's freak,
perfectly.
if you will.
They match. And there's like a she's like Sonny's the only man who's ever been able to connect with me. Like who's ever been able to do this. And then Sonny bang 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 gets shot
Hmm.
up and then
He can
she's
walk it
crying.
off.
Yeah, he walks it off.
Yeah.
She's crying. I guess the Don Corleone in this book has a lot. Like he seems like a powerful guy in the movie, but in this book, I'm like, okay, this guy could like take over the world if if he if he
Hmm.
chose to. Like his reach of power is like he is just an all powerful figure like in this book. But because she was close to Sonny, they like they send her away to Vegas and they give her like an allowance, so she's just basically just living peacefully like for the rest of her life. And she meets a doctor. She encounters a doctor, and that doctor is also like owes the Corleone family because he was doing abortions and that was not legal at that time. So he got like his doctor license revoked. So now he just does work strictly for the Corleones. And they him and that the deep loose girl they
Hmm.
they get together and he's like, "Oh, so that's why you were wary of us doing this. Well, I can fix that with a simple operation." So so they do a surgery and it's I don't even know if this is a real surgery, but
Wait.
it's a
Okay.
tightening
Sorry. Go. Okay.
they do a tightening surgery.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be so honest. I got a text from my roommate being like, "Do you know where my boots are?" And I was like,
Have you
"Oh,
been
I
looking
because
for your
we
boots?
because I was like, oh, I took them to my room because I thought they were my boots, and now I'm like, wait, where are? Because we have the same brand boots, so I'm like, okay, wait, where are mine if I have yours? And then I come back to the conversation. You're like, yeah, they're giving her tightening surgery, and I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah. She
So
meets a
wait, why are
doctor.
they giving her tightening surgery? Because she's too loose for everyone else?
Yes.
Okay,
And I guess it has like I don't know, it gives reasons, but it's pretty much like
okay, sure.
how could I be a woman of pride if I'm so
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 I'm just a
cavernous? I'm
yeah.
so I'm so free. And this is a full I want there's at least there's chapters dedicated to this. There is little chapters. Like I'd be reading and I'm like, yeah, cool mafia stuff. And then I'm like and the incision to the to the flaps. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, why are we back? Why are we spending so much time at this? But the weirdest aspect of this is like he gets his like doctor friend because he's a doctor, but he's not a doctor in that part of the woman's body. So he gets his doctor friend to do it,
Hmm.
and he's watching the surgery, and then
I'm gonna
at
get up,
like
but I'm listening.
right as she's
I'm
about to
listening.
knock out, he's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna get you nice and tight, and then I'm gonna test it out myself." It was the worst, bro. And like I'm trying to think what. Uh, no edits. One take, Jake. And like, dude, the creepiest moment is like when they were like, is this even? Can this go on? Can this go on YouTube? I guess it can. is this is this advertiser friendly? So he's doing the surgery, and he's like he's like testing the tightness, and he looks over at the doctor who's her lover, and he's like, "Is that tight enough for you?" And he's like, "Thumbs up, perfect, perfect amount right there." And like, it just freaked me out, bro. I hate this plot line. This went on. If the book was broken down into percentages, this was at least 20% of the book. This was a good 20% of that book. Like
Oh my god.
this tightening surgery, bro. Like,
Jeez. That's crazy.
and the fact that he like looks at at the lover and he's like, "Is that tight enough for you?" Yeah, you got it, bro.
That's so nasty. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Luca
Wow.
Brasi. Luca Brasi in
Hmm.
that book is an insane. He is an insane. Like he's just like a big strong guy in the movie that was
Hmm.
like all like Luca Brasi. But in that book, he is like a psychotic massacre killer type of guy. He like he hooks up with a Irish prostitute and gets her pregnant, and then he has a then right when she has a baby, he like demands that the nurse throw that baby into the fire because that baby is not fully Italian. That
Oh
that's
god.
he's just like throw. It was kind of like not fully Italian, and the fact that the baby came from him, and Luca Brasi thinks he's evil, so it was like two evils. Like he's like throw this baby into the fire, and then he kills the
Hello.
Irish
They're
girl.
on the inside of the
Yeah.
door. Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't mind all the trash at the top
Do
of the
y'all got
stairs.
like similar
Can
shoe
you have fun?
sizes?
I apparent yeah, actually yes, because on like when we first um when we first moved in on like the first or second day, I wore her shoes out and
I couldn't wear another man's shoes.
I didn't know they were her shoes. I thought they were mine because we had the same. This is a different pair of shoes too. And then
They
I
could
was
be
like, oh
all
shit,
worn
these are not mine.
differently.
Yeah. But anyway, she just walked in. She was like, oh my god, because I have all these lights and like all this shit up here. But I also have a bunch of trash. This construction of my apartment. I'm sorry to just like change stuff, but I'll just real quick. The construction of my apartment is that there's like three rooms downstairs, and then there's like a staircase up, and then there's a little landing, and then there's my room.
So you got a
And
separate area.
I got a separate area, which is nice in some ways. The air conditioning doesn't really get up here, which is tough.
Oh
So
man.
sometimes I just have to go downstairs because it gets so hot in my room. I just have to go like sit in the kitchen area and be like, but um, I have like a couple trash bags that I've been meaning to take out, and I just keep letting it accumulate in like the landing at the top of the
Yo,
stairs.
you just got
I'm
trash, bro.
like don't mind the. It's mostly like it's mostly like packaging and stuff from like tape and like other stuff from all the Etsy stuff I'm doing.
I'm
So
like,
it's
don't
not
be
like
having rats
food.
and roaches at the crib, bro.
No, it's all just like I don't know,
Well,
packaging
you don't eat,
supplies.
so I don't
Yeah,
assume it's
there's
food.
not. Don't worry, there's not food in those bags.
You don't ever eat food.
It's a lot of recycling, like broken down boxes that I just keep meaning to bring down, but there's just a pile of it at the top of the stairs. And I was like, just don't even worry about it. Don't mind all the trash at the top of the stairs. Anyway, Godfather,
Yeah,
Godfather,
tight,
Godfather,
dude. It
tight.
was literally dedicated chapters dedicated. She was just so insecure. She's like, "How will I
Mm.
ever be a complete Italian woman if if I am like this? I must get the surgery. I
Oh
must."
my god, that's wild.
And
No, just those are
Apollonia is
weird.
is a teen, weird.
Yeah,
that whole Michael in Italy was just creeping me out. I mean, it was like him accepting that he's a mobster and that this is the way his segment ended, where like his wife gets blown up, and
Mhm.
he's laying recovering, and he's like, tell my father I want to come back. Tell my father I'm ready to be his son. And like,
Mhm.
and the chapter just ends. I was like, okay, that's a
Okay.
that's a hard way. That's a hard way to end. He's like, tell my father I'm ready to be his son. I'm like, that's
Wow.
okay. That's a
Okay.
hard way to end a chapter right there.
Mhm. Sure, for sure.
But like,
What else was? Yeah.
oh yeah, there was that the wife drug case.
Are we gonna go back to that?
Is that should that be addressed? How
I mean,
what
what is
can
there to
we add to
say
that?
about it? Yeah, what
What
insight are we gonna offer?
what can we add to that? Drugging your wife
Um,
is bad, guys.
you should maybe not do that.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't drug. That just freaked me out, bro. I don't want to
That's
add.
crazy, but she is very brave for like
Yeah,
putting her name on that and doing it publicly.
the fact that it was
It's
like, what was the number? It was
it was like
like
80 or something.
80 to 100 people. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know 100 people, bro. Like how? Where did you
I know, I'm
find
like,
these
is he
people?
recruiting people? Like, is he like going to bars and being like, hey guys, I've got a thing you can do?
I don't know this many people.
Hmm.
I don't have phone contacts that deep, bro. Like how do you gather like what was the parking like outside of the
While they were all on different, it was over the course of like years.
Oh, this wasn't one event?
No, this
Oh,
is not like one
I
big
thought
party.
okay. Is it bad? I don't want to not that we're laughing at this, but
Uh
like
huh.
okay. I
You're
thought this was
imagining just
like
like circles and circles of people.
yes, I thought this was a one time was a one overnight like we're doing this
No, this
July
is
5th we're getting it done. I
that's
thought
crazy.
that's what I
No, this
thought.
was over the course of I think like 10 years. He was like
Okay.
constantly drugging her food, and she thought that she had Alzheimer's because she was constantly passing out and having memory loss. And so she was like going to the doctor and being like going to neurologists and being like, what is going on? And they kept testing her brain and like everything was normal. But she's like, why am I always like passing out and like forgetting things? And then I think oh, you know what it was? He was on a warrant because he was filming up women's skirts in a supermarket.
Oh, he
And
was one
so
of
for
those people.
some reason that prompted the police to raid their home and raid his computer, which to me seems like a bit much, but I guess it's not because I guess like if you're filming up random women's skirts, it's like how often are you doing that? Like how many women's skirts has he filmed up? So they raid his computer and they find that he's been taking videos of this for like years. So she doesn't know about any of it. She doesn't remember any of
That's
it. She just knows that
that's
she's been passing out all
disturbing.
the time and waking up with memory loss. And then she finds out that all
That's
this stuff has been going on.
that's so
Yeah.
disturbing. Like
It's
10
so like
years.
crazy. Yeah, and he
10
was like taking
years.
her to these appointments and being like, I don't know what's going on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not there's not much to add to that other than that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's like 10 years. That's like how do you okay, that's not that this makes it better. That this actually makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it went on for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it happening all at once would make it better, but like I don't the fact that this wasn't like a one event. This was like something that he repeatedly decided to
Mm-hmm.
do. Like
Yeah.
he was just
And
like
like
we're doing
document
this.
and keep is so like
Yeah, that's disturbing, man.
it's crazy. But then I was reminded of like, well, I really, hmm. Do we talk about more of this subject matter?
I mean, what do you get one take Jake? What you trying to say?
We'll top line it. I'm just gonna say, have you heard of Josef Fritzl or maybe Josef Fritzl?
You texted me about that. You were like, I just read about it. And so I looked it up and then I was like, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I remember reading this story like years ago and then I forgot about it. And then I remembered it because this story was trending on Twitter about someone in Poland who did some really terrible stuff to someone that he kidnapped. And they were calling him Poland's Josef Fritzl, or maybe Austria's. No, because Fritzl was Austrian, wasn't he? Yeah, he was Austrian. So I think they were saying Poland's Josef Fritzl. Anyway, he built a giant. No, it wasn't giant. It was actually quite small, but it was hidden behind like 5 doors or something, like a dungeon in his basement that had like multiple like electromagnetic locks or something. It was very, very complex and like impossible to get into. Where he kept
Hmm.
his daughter, and then he ended up having like a bunch of kids with her, and so some of them were in like the dungeon with her, and some of them, because they ran out of space in the dungeon, they started like dropping in front of like fire departments, and that's about it. And yeah,
That's
it was a
crazy.
crazy story that I was reading about, and like how they all had to like undergo extensive therapy because they'd spent many, many years, her spending a lot of her life and these kids spending literally all of their life in this like, I don't know, like 7 by 7 or something dungeon, and like they
That's
didn't know how to operate in sunlight and large spaces. It
that's
was
wild.
crazy.
I don't even
But
like how. That reminds me of a. Is this gonna be the true crime cast? The
oh god,
are we for the true crime?
that
There was
picture
like
where they're like ah in front of all the confetti and they're like we love true crime.
there was like
But yeah.
one serial killer. I guess he was more of like a serial like force
Uh-huh.
sexual attacker, but he
Hmm.
was a serial. But I mean, he did end up killing a lot of people. But he would like and the creepiest thing was like he would kidnap women and they'd wake up chained to a chair in like a metal room in his basement, and this like 8 minute audio would play, and you can find this on YouTube. And
Oh god.
it would detail everything that they were about to experience. It would be like, I'm going to do this, and then on these days my friends will come over and we will do this, and on these days my friends will bring their dogs over and they'll and you will do it. You will learn. He went into a lot of detail with how with what human and dog relations is like. I was
That's
it was
crazy.
and just waking up and like hearing an audio tape of this of everything, and he was like, and if you're good, then I will, when the time comes, I'll pick you up and you'll be dropped off on the side of the road somewhere. And to his credit, I mean, not to his credit, not like this
Did
is
he
true
drop them
crime.
off on the side of the road?
Yeah, so he didn't kill. I got to say, his goal wasn't to kill people. Like,
Jesus.
but a lot of his goal wasn't like to do this, but like, and that was like, that was just a
That
thing he did, and you
that
could
like
find like the audio of it, of like the tape that they would hear on YouTube. He would like detail everything, and his like wife was involved with it. Like it was a whole thing, but like disturbing.
that reminds me, one, I shouldn't be like, "Oh, these are the pieces of media that it reminds me of." But the being like chained up and seeing the recording reminds me of Get Out.
Oh yeah.
Um and then the new season of Black Mirror kind of sucked, but one of the episodes was like they were trying, oh god, I don't really remember the details of it. I want to say they were in Ireland, Scotland. I'm going to say it was Scotland. They were in Scotland. It's this like American girl with her Scottish boyfriend, and they're in this little town in Scotland where there was a serial killer, and she's trying to make a documentary about like finding the serial killer, and then she ends up finding out that it's her boyfriend's dad. Was it her boyfriend's dad or was it her? I don't remember. But the point is that the boyfriend's mom, who they were staying with, was like involved with it, and so it would be like the two of them would go and torture people and film it. But that episode
Disturbing.
was weird. Disturbing stuff.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
I never watched much of Black Mirror. I never got with that show. I was like,
It
eh,
was very hit or
eh.
miss, and the new stuff has been mostly misses. Um, but
But
I
yeah,
don't know.
don't drug people. That's
Yeah, don't do that.
don't do that.
On the subject of Netflix media, have I talked to you about Three Body Problem?
No.
Are you a sci-fi guy at all? I don't really know.
I mean, I like sci-fi. I wouldn't consider myself a sci-fi guy, but like
Yeah,
I've consumed
honestly, I wouldn't either, but I
I
liked
like
Three Body
sci-fi.
Problem. But it also kind of, well, the
I don't
first
consider
half, I think it's, yeah, sorry.
I don't consider myself like there's like people who like watch mob movies and there's people who watch
Hmm.
fantasy movies. Like I just like if it's good. Like to me, The Godfather and Goodfellas is a good movie. Lord of the Rings, they're good movies. Like Star
Hmm.
Wars, they're like I wouldn't consider myself sci-fi or fantasy. I just like if it's a good movie, I'll watch it. I'll watch a rom-com if it's good. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. But yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't really consider myself a sci-fi person either. Like I don't consume a lot of sci-fi stuff. But at the recommendation of my friend, I watched Three Body Problem recently, and um, sorry, I just
Did you
got a
like
text.
it?
I was like, what? Oh yeah, so I think it's 8 episodes, and the first 4 episodes I really liked, and then the second or like the last 4 episodes were like okay. I don't really know. I thought the whole thing was very interesting, but it went a little like, but it was good the whole time. It was just a
Hmm.
little bit more like questionable near the end.
I just looked it up. Apparently, it's based off a Chinese novel. So
Hmm.
I'll I'll read the book of it before. I'm in my book
Hmm.
reading. I'm like, because I feel almost like watching something is almost like a job to me. Like,
That's funny.
hate to say, I unless I'm going to the movie theater. That's why I go to the movie theaters a lot because I'm like, this is no reason to record this. Like I'm just here just to watch this. Like this is for me. But like at home, we're pretty much I'm not watching something unless I'm recording it
Hmm.
for that. So like I'm reading. Like I have thought about like making like videos about books I enjoy, but I'm like I don't want this to be like a thing. I just want to read books like and
Hmm.
then like not be like not it be a content thing. Even though I feel like that would do well cuz the book there's like I feel like I could
Yeah,
talk
book
about
YouTube.
books really good. But like I'm like nah, I just want this to be my thing I do.
Yeah, the friend who recommended it to me, his friend apparently read the book and said that like the first one was really good and then the second two were less good. I don't know where in terms of like those books, I don't know how much of it the TV show covers, but it takes place between like it's like present day United States and then like it starts in like 19 oh god 1960s China, and then it cuts to like present day United States, and then it's going between following this character in 1960s China and then like the 70s and the 80s and then to present day.
Hmm.
um I don't know, I think it's fun, but something reminded me of that. I think we're just talking about media. I don't know.
I read the a book I really enjoyed recently was like it was a Japanese book. I've been reading a lot of
Mm-hmm.
foreign books. I read this book called The Stronghold, which was like an Italian book translated into English. And then I read this book called Heaven, which was a Japanese book translated into English.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, it was like another translation. I don't know. It makes me want to like learn the language so I can like truly
Mm-hmm.
understand the prose. Like that's my biggest draw. I'll be like I really like this story, but like what I'm like when I'm reading the author's work, I'm like I like to like I'm like how did they word this? Like how they like word it? Like I feel like that's you lose that in a translation. But I read this book called Heaven, which was like about like these people being bullied to extreme levels in like the Japanese school, and like
Mm-hmm.
they're like writing notes to each other. Like they don't talk at school at all because they're just getting and they feel like people would use that against them, which they do at
Mm-hmm.
some point in the book. But they like leave notes for each other and they it's a lot of like suicidal ideation and stuff, but it
Mm.
was a really good book. I liked it. I liked it a
Interesting.
lot. book,
Yeah,
read books.
read books. It's so funny. I This is something that I've been like grappling with, where I generally think of myself as a very I fancy myself a creative person, but then when it comes to certain areas, I feel like I'm really like dry. Like I just got a new book, and it's um meta history,
Meta history.
the historical imagination in 19th century Europe. And it's like, okay, maybe I should read fiction. Maybe I should maybe I should chill out. But I don't know. And then I get these books, and then I don't even like have time. I keep starting books and not finishing them and then getting new books. I have the Cormac McCarthy books. Where are they? I don't know. I have a tense relationship with Cormac McCarthy, which is not his fault, and
Why do you
is
have a
the
tense
fault
relationship?
because I associate him with someone, and so I need to break free of that because I
Just
shouldn't
read.
let this one person ruin a whole author
Just read
and
The
a
Passenger.
band. Like this person has ruined Cormac McCarthy and the Strokes for me, and I need to be like, okay, this this person is out of they don't matter. Like,
Yo, I gave you The Passenger. Read The Passenger, bro. I
yeah.
When I was reading that book, I was like, okay, this is a. I was like, this is camp. It's about like a genius, and
Hmm.
it has a lot of that book is like a lot of like philosophical tangents and mathematical. It's about like a mathematician who like he does a lot of things. It's kind of hard to like what is the plot of a Cormac book? It's more like what is the plot of any Southern Gothic literature? It's like
Hmm.
just a decrepit South, but like it's like
Yeah.
this is camp. It's about of like a lot of long philosophical tangents and like it's really good.
All right. Well, if I can remember where the hell I put it, I will start reading that again.
Read it.
I have all my. I know I brought it here. I don't know
He's
where
got
it is.
like it's a the main character is like a guy and his sister. It'll like cut back and forth between him and his sister is like schizophrenic, and there's
Hmm.
all these like imaginary people, which I mean that identified with me. Not to go too deep into my life, but like a very close
Oh
relative of
yeah.
mine is like schizophrenic, so that was
Yeah.
like I was like okay, this and it made a lot of sense. I was like, did he have experience with like a real like
Hmm.
schizophrenic person? I was like, the way like it was like detailing how she like interacts with them and like how they make decisions and stuff. I was like, okay, this is real, but it's a good
Hmm.
book. It's a cam book, bro. Read books, eat food.
Eat food, read
Don't
books.
get heart failure and read
Yeah.
books.
Oh, I gotta text my doc. You would think after experiencing what I briefly thought was a heart attack, I would immediately text my doctor, but I have not done that yet. So I
yo,
need to do that.
yo,
Drug interactions are serious business. Don't be
yo,
like, oh, this gives me slight tachycardia, but it's fine. I just have to learn to deal with it
yo.
because it's gonna keep happening, and then you're gonna collapse in your building's garage and go, oh my god, I can't die right now, and then think about your friend who told you that you need to care for your heart, and then regret everything that you've been doing for the last few weeks, where you'd be like, oh, I'll just do some breathing exercises and that'll bring my heart rate down.
No, no. The
Not how
thing
that
is,
works.
I was in that exact position, bro. I was literally laying up in there, but I let it go for so long. My legs were like triple times the size. I'm out there.
Hmm.
Like, I was like, I'm good.
I'm fine.
No, you gotta get it, bro.
Yeah.
Stay off the
Anyway,
controlled substances, Cam.
but I was prescribed it,
Stay
and
off.
it's been very helpful to me. But now I'm not taking it, and now it's not helpful. But I'm at least not on the verge of a heart attack. So I will have to figure that out about what I can do there. But yeah,
How much do you know about those Russia sponsorships?
a decent bit. I've this in terms of the specifics. Like I can't remember which one is like influencer one and which one's influencer two, but I've read a good bit about it and I've listened to a number of videos about it. So like from what I can remember, it's like Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, some girl, not Lauren Southern. Was it Lauren
I
Southern?
think yeah, it was Lawrence Southern.
Um, Tenet Media is what they're all under. And then they were being paid by this like Russian asset, like an obscene amount of money to make these videos. How much do you know about it? I'm like, am I like
Very,
mansplaining this to you? Like, do you know
very
this
okay.
already?
No, I purposely I was like I know Cam is gonna talk about this or make a video about this, so I'll let this go. I just know
Yeah.
Dave Rubin because I used to watch a lot of Young Turks when I was young. Not because I really
Mm.
agreed with
Fucking
anything that
Young
they
Turks.
said,
Uh huh.
but I just was like, okay, it's a news outlet that isn't like, hey guys, we're here on the scene. And this was like early YouTube. So, and the Young Turks was kind of like that first, like, now it's common where there's a lot of people saying the news in like in a
In like a
more
chiller format.
chill way,
Yeah.
but in like in that era, Young Turks was like one of one. You had that
I remember they used to
Or
have
Alex
that and
Jones.
Alex Jones.
That was
I remember they used to have a show called Think Tank. Maybe they still have it. I don't know. But I remember when I was younger, I would occasionally watch Think Tank.
were you watching it
And
because of Hassan? were you
no,
were
this
you
was way
watching
before
Hassan
that.
on there?
This was way before that. This was like when they were probably first starting.
I remember when
And
Hassan
like,
was introduced on the Young Turks. He was like a young. He was
was he on the
like
Young Turks?
yeah.
That
Jenk
makes sense because I know Jenks' uncle. I almost said husband,
his
but
husband. Cenk Uygur was like, this my he would always refer to him as his hot nephew, which is a weird thing to me.
Jenk. Okay.
He's so hot. He gets all the girls, and he's like he just graduated high school. I'm gonna let him on the show. He's got things to say, and like he had this show called like the Bro Code, where he would
Oh
like
God.
if you look up Hassan Bro Code, you'll probably find like old videos of it. But this was like hot, college age Hassan. He'd be like, so you're at the bar. You want to talk to a girl. Bro Code is this. All right, this is what you do. You go up to the girl. You got it. You're like, whoa, like that's what he would do. Are you
Oh
finding the Bro
Lord.
Code right now?
I'm trying to. Nothing's coming up for it,
There
but I
was like
trusted it existed.
this was a video series of Hassan Bro Code. I
Oh
promise you,
Lord.
I watched this.
I'll take your word for it.
Now I have to
Oh,
find
bro
this.
tip?
Bro tip, yeah, bro tip.
Bro tip. Okay, now I'm getting some. Oh, this is like big Hassan.
Yeah.
Hasanabi bro tip. That's so funny. I am bro tip, hear me roar.
And it was
That's so
cringy.
funny.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, how did we get here? Oh yeah, Dave Rubin. Okay.
Oh, the yeah.
So in the
Because he was
early
on the Young
days,
Turks.
Dave Rubin was on the Young Turks, and then
Hmm.
he was like real close. Anna Kasparian had like a YouTube channel where he would like be in a lot of those videos, and they'd like be like drink. It was in that era when people would have like my gay best friend, so
Hmm.
they would make videos kind of in that vein. And then he like switched up and made the Rubin report and immediately like eclipsed the Young Turks and made
Hmm.
still
It turns
so
out
much
right wing
money.
content's like extremely profitable. Yeah.
But he never claimed he was right wing. He always claimed
No,
he
he
was
always was like a disaffected liberal, and he
yeah.
was like,
That just
yeah.
happens to have a lot of I'm gay, but do gay people really do we really need rights? Do we?
Hmm.
Like like he was like that type of guy.
Yeah, because he has to like swallow his pride now and go to the Daily Wire where they're all like, yeah, we actually will tell you to your face that we don't respect you because you're gay. And he's like, that's okay. We just have different ideas, but we're all getting along. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Dave. Yeah. Anyway.
But I mean, he got he a lot of money. He was literally
Mm-hmm.
funded by like the Koch brothers or whatever. Or
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So he's apparently being funded by Big Russia. How is the Rubin
Yeah.
report doing? Is the Rubin report still thriving out here?
Oh, yeah. Um, the Majority Report talks about the Rubin Report a lot, like they have been for years, to the point where some people say that they have like a vendetta against Dave Rubin. But basically, their thing is like, we want to make sure that anyone who is like looking up Dave Rubin, because he for so long has been like portraying himself as just like a liberal with a couple ideas that are just a little different, they want to be like, whenever someone looks up Dave Rubin, we want to make sure that they encounter content that's like Dave Rubin is a grifter and like the stuff that he's saying is not true.
He's definitely a grifter.
But yeah, Tim Pool recently said that Ukraine is the single biggest threat to the US and that we should be apologizing to Russia for how we've treated them. And then it comes
Yo.
out that he's taking in like millions of dollars from this Russian organization.
So question: if a Russian organization was like, Cam, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
give you $150,000 for every video, no matter how many views it makes, that you don't have to say you support Russia, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to be like, let's look at Russia in a different light. And it doesn't have to be your whole
Nah.
identity, but you gotta make like, you make like a 5 minute video and you're getting like 150,000. Are you doing it?
It's enticing, but it's also like not.
Because not gonna lie,
Because that's
if Two
would you do it?
starts making some pro
Yeah.
Russia content, yo, 150,000 per 5 minute video. And the thing is, we're doing movie reactions. That means we're watching, like, I don't know, the bad Catwoman movie, and we're like, whoa, whoa, Russia sympathy, am I right? And then we
Yeah.
jump right back into it. 150,000. Not gonna lie, bro. You might see me. You might
I know
see
they've
it, bro.
taken over. I don't think that the Russian people are paying off the Young Turks, but the Young Turks are running out of money. And
They
so it's
are.
kind of an open secret. Oh yeah. First of all, Anna Kasparian has gone off the deep end um because she bought into the trans culture war. So she's like very hostile towards trans people and she's also really hostile towards homeless people and she's like they're smelly and dirty and I don't like them. And then TYT in general is like running out of money. So Jank tried to like do his little presidential run to like raise money and that didn't really work, but it put them on display as people who are in need of money. So then it was clear that they started getting like right-wing funding because now they're like, Project 2025 isn't actually that bad. And it's like, what? But
Oh no, not Anna Kasparian. I used to watch a lot of Anna Kasparian content back in
I
the
know
day.
I used to think she was awesome and she has done some really good coverage, but she's like, yeah, not it. Um,
So, but I mean, the Young Turks, they got like 6 million subscribers, man.
yeah, they're just like, I don't know if it's the content. I don't know why they're not making money. I just know that they've made it pretty clear to the world that they are not getting very much money and that they
Man,
need financial help. And so right-wing organizations have said, "Oh, I'll help you out. You
I
just have to
remember,
change your narrative a little bit."
I remember when they were bought by Al Gore in like
Mhm.
2012. Current TV, like Al Gore bought them.
Mhm. Which he then sold to Al Jazeera,
Yeah,
which I don't really know all the politics of that. I just know it's a thing that happened. And that people were like, "Oh, Al Gore like sold out to Kuwait," and I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. I have heard conflicting things about Al Jazeera. I've found their coverage overall fine, but maybe I haven't seen some evidence that it's actually bad, so I don't want to opine in any particular direction. No one asked me to. Um,
Anna Kasparian, man. I was
yeah.
watching Anna Kasparian like 10 plus, like
Hmm.
before she got a nose job. Like pre nose job Anna Kasparian. I was watching pre nose job
Hmm.
Anna Kasparian.
Now I want to remember what pre nose job Anna Kasparian looked like. Yeah, yeah, I totally remember this because she was on Think Tank
Yeah.
with perhaps Dave Rubin and definitely this one guy whose name I can't remember, but I think he
What?
does like Rebel HQ or something now. Let's see, Rebel HQ. There's a bunch of like Rebel media, and some of them are right wing and some of them are left wing, and I can't remember. I think his name's like John. Look up TOIT
Wait, was it
John.
John Idarola?
Yeah, John.
Dude,
Yeah.
I know because I was watching. I
Mm-hmm.
I know I okay, I know the name. There was a Kim Horsher. She was like the Asian girl.
Okay, yeah, John was the one that hosted Think Tank, where he would bring
Yeah,
other people on.
and there
Okay,
was Kim
yeah, sorry.
Horsher. There was an Asian
Hmm.
girl. There was there was like another. There was the Bree Essrig, who they had that.
Yes,
There was Sam
because
Shocker.
she had her own channel that I watched. I think she still makes stuff that I watch sometimes.
I
Sorry, and
think
there was
she's
who?
like a. There was like Sam Shocker. There was that one guy named Brett. I can't think of his name, but he was like a stand-up comedian or something.
Uh huh.
And I used to watch all these people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Emma Vigeland,
yeah, yeah.
who is now in the Majority Report, and Jimmy Dore, who
Jimmy
is
Dore.
also a right winger.
Yeah.
That's where I was like talking about this with my mom because I was like, I'm in this weird position where there is a career to be made in left wing media, but there also kind of isn't. Like, left wing media exists, but in terms of like big left wing media companies, there aren't really that many compared to like what there are on the right. And I was like, a lot of the left wing, like sort of mainstream, as far as you can get mainstream left wing media people that I know now started on the Young Turks as
Yeah.
like interns. And my mom was like, "Oh, well, like you should see if you can intern for the Young Turks." I'm like, first of all, okay, not really how that works. Second of all, I do not want to work for the Young Turks.
You could.
But
You could work for the
yeah,
Young Turks.
I could. But
This guy, Brett Ehrlich, that was his name. I would see him constantly. Brett Ehrlich.
yeah,
Okay.
my mom just texted me. Billy Crudup just won an Emmy for his stupid character.
For what? What? I don't know who this person is.
The morning show. Did you watch the morning
Oh,
show video? Yeah.
yeah, I watched it. I
Oh yeah,
just
you
didn't
watched it.
know. I watched the
Yeah,
video. I
he was
saw your
the
mom. I was like, Cam's mom, yo.
right, of course. He was the showrunner who like would always speak in soliloquies, and I guess he just
Oh,
won an Emmy. That's just such a funny. Like we haven't been. She just texted me that out of nowhere. Um.
oh, there was this one guy on the Young Turks all the time. His name was like Ben Mankiewicz, and I know him because he his like grandfather wrote Citizen Kane or something. So he does a lot of
Huh.
movie reviews. And like say you're going to see like a classic movie. Like when I saw a Taxi Driver, the 40th anniversary of that in theaters. Like anytime you see a classic movie, you see him before like introducing it. He's like a big in the movie space. But the thing I noticed, this is gonna come back to incest. The thing
Lovely.
I know about him the most is there was a
Hmm.
video where they were all talking about the first time that they watched adult content as children, and you know they're old guys, so they're watching like VHS tapes and
Yeah.
stuff. And he said the first time I ever saw it, it was incest, and then he was like, and the way I solved that was I just watched it on mute. And the thing was, he brought this up in the conversation was not about this at all. He just that was like just an intrusive thought. He just
Thanks
blursted.
for asking.
He
Oh
just
God.
blurted out. He was like incest. You know, you watch it on mute, and they're like everyone just looked at him
Everyone's
like,
like,
what did that have to do with anything? He was like, yeah, you know, the first time you get the tape and I didn't like what it was about, so I just turned it on mute and handled my business. And they were like, so now every time I see an old movie and I see that guy, that's the first, that's the first
that's
thing.
like something Amir would do.
That
Like
is
just
such a
unsolicitedly be like, I watched incest porn. You just gotta put it on mute. And they're all like,
why?
like, huh?
Wait, let me. Ben Mankiewicz incest.
Oh my goodness.
I did not spell his name right. I was hoping that the Google hearing my voice would. I'm like, I don't know how to spell. Mankiewicz. Okay, there we go. That is such a Jake and Amir. We need to have a Jake and Amir
We do.
episode. But I know. Wait. Okay, I'm about to
I
send you
used to
this
write
video.
little skits for my channel when I was like a little bit younger. And they would be like, occasionally I'll do bits where it's like two of me talking to each other. But I would go so far in some of these like when I was in it all goes back to middle school. But when I was in like middle school, I would write these bits where like someone would just start like talking at length and they would be like the other me would be like, you go into this conversation with an agenda, or like one of me would call the other one like, what are you, that's crazy, buddy. Or just like things that they just did on Jake and Amir that I would steal. That I wouldn't even realize I was stealing.
Yeah,
I would just like,
how old were you when you first watched Jake and Amir?
oh god, young. I got into College Humor. I'm trying to think when I really started like using the internet, and it was probably around like age 9,
Yo, that's
and I
crazy.
maybe got into College Humor at like 10 or 11. And at first, I thought like Jake and Amir was weird. I didn't even watch it. I just like thought the concept was weird, and I didn't want to watch it. And then they started talking about it on like some other show, and I decided to watch some episode. Let me see.
You know
Was
how
it?
I discovered College Humor? There was a TV show. It was
Uh huh.
on. It was in like maybe 2008 or 9. It was a little. It was like a syndicated TV show. It was called, was it Pranked or something? And it was hosted by Amir. And who is that other guy? Who is like It was a host. It was kind of like what was that old thing where they would like where it was like a host watching funny internet videos and then he would like commentate over them. I can't believe it was like on
Oh, there's
like
a lot of
AB.
those.
It was on like ABC
Like
Family.
Tosh, like Daniel Tosh,
No, this was like for the family. It would be like it was on ABC Family, and it was like a guy. He was like, "Ho ho,
like America's Funniest Home
yeah,
Videos.
America's Funniest Home Videos." It was similar
Uh
to
huh.
America's Funniest Home Videos, but it was
Okay.
Amir and another guy, and they would host it. It was a
I
TV
just
show.
remembered the first episode of Jake and Amir that I watched was Tipping. I remember
Tipping.
that because it starts with him going QRS, right? Is that tipping? And then I'm gonna pull this up now. Yes, it was tipping. That was the first episode I ever watched, and that came out 12 years ago. So yeah, about 10, maybe a little bit older. Maybe I watched it a little bit after it came out, but
You was young on these internet streets, man.
truly.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was Streeter. It was Streeter and Amir,
Oh, Streeter and Amir,
and it
yeah.
was called Pranked,
They
and it
would do the pranks.
yeah,
Yes, I know what you're
and it
talking
came
about.
out in 2009. This was on TV. Like I would be.
It
It was
was.
literally on TV. So
Yeah.
I didn't discover College Humor through the internet. I was like at a friend's house, and I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. And then yeah, so I discovered it through the TV, the old-fashioned way.
I remember watching those later. The only one that I remember now is that Amir, as had like a fake proposal for Streeter's girlfriend
Yeah,
at like a baseball game or something.
yeah.
And then whether or not that was real, I feel like the show like ended after that. Streeter was like, that wasn't funny. And then like they didn't do any more episodes.
I just sent you
But
the that video of that guy
oh yeah, I saw it
reviewing
and
it.
I was like, do I watch this? All right, let's see. Incest
Just watch it.
cringe.
I don't. Well, I know I'm not gonna do any edits, so just watch it, and then they'll just see they'll just see your reaction to this. It's like a minute long.
Turn the sound completely off. That's the best way to watch this movie. So that's the context.
Yes.
Why would he say that? You had to turn the sound down.
That's now every time I see that guy, and this was on the Young Turks, by the way, or a Young Turks show where they reviewed movies. So I guess that was the context. Yeah, turn the sound down. That's the best way to watch this movie. That is such
And
a
he was like,
Jake and
yeah, that's how
Amir.
I watch incest porn. That's so something Amir would say. He'd be like,
And then, but then it would be like, but actually, I turned it up. Like,
mm-hmm,
that would be like or
yeah,
like I watch it with subtitles so I understand what's happening, or something
mm-hmm,
like, like that
something.
would be like the joke of it all. Anyway, we've been here for an hour and 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm ready to
Cameron,
make you edit this one again, but you better edit out that medication at the beginning.
I will. I will.
But other than that, I've
I'll
I've
that'll be
accepted.
my
I've put
one
this in your
cut.
hands
That'll be
because I'm
my.
like, otherwise, I'm gonna take 2 days to go over this and add little visual aids, and you just go boom, boom, done, post it.
You can't. You don't have it in you. To you're scared.
I don't. I'm
You
doing
have
too many other
fear.
things.
You have fear.
Yeah.
I remember when I said
Oh,
I
I don't have
watched
it. Yeah.
this. I was like, yeah. I just put the clips together, and I'm like, hey, post, and you're like, that's scary. I'm like, you don't have it. You don't have that dog in you, bro.
Yeah. Well, there's a part of me where, like, even as we're filming, I'm imagining like things that I would put in where I'm like, oh, I would put like a picture here to demonstrate what I'm talking about, or like I would cut in with a video, but I'm like, I don't want to edit this.
This is
So
supposed
I'm
to
gonna make
be
Awesome do this.
one take Jake.
I know.
This is a podcast, bro.
Some podcasts they have like stylistic editing though,
Well, we don't
but
have the
that's
budget.
whatever.
We don't. We don't
We don't have
have
the
the
budget.
budget for this, bro.
We don't have the budget. We both got our own lives to attend to.
And I have my own YouTube channel where I make my edits, where I make those funny edits and I cut
Hmm.
around and I actually watch the full content, but not here.
Hmm. Valid.
Not for
Valid.
this.
Valid.
The most editing I do is for the thumbnail, which is still minimal. But yeah, Cameron, Killa Cam, Jewish. Oh yeah, what did you eat today? Did you eat food today? Did you eat vegetables? Did you eat
I
nutrients?
had I had a turkey sandwich and some strawberries,
Okay,
and that's it.
dog, dog.
I I I'll eat something before I film my video.
Dog. Literally, I will. Dog. One day, if you were like within like an hour drive of me,
Hmm.
I would literally like make like a stockpile of food monthly and be like, this is the
I
cam.
do.
This
I'm always
is.
like I should meal prep because I hate the process of like preparing food. But then meal prepping, you still have to prepare the food. And I don't want to do that.
I love
I'd rather
making food. It's
just.
so
Oh, I
peaceful.
hate making
It's
food. I
so
do not
peaceful,
get it.
bro. I'm in that kitchen. I got the pan on. I got the oven on. I'm in there. I'm doing my thing. I
I don't
know
get it.
tomorrow morning I'm making fried rice and I'm excited thinking about it. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna make fried rice. Like, I got the eggs, I got the onion ready. I'm making fried rice. It's an exciting thing. I'm old, bro. I'm 27 years old. This is exciting to me. You're too young.
Yeah, see, I don't get that. But at the same time, I'm building this thing out on our balcony right now that was supposed to be like a 2-day project, but I've gotten all into like I've been like trying to fix the edges because I like I cut some of the wood wrong, and so it's the edges aren't as clean as I'd like them to be. So I've been like putting spackling and like joint compound, and then letting that dry, which takes like 5+ hours, and then going out and sanding it and putting more joint compound and
Yo.
letting it dry and going out and sanding it. And I guess there are people who would be like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
see,
a
no,
lot of
that
effort that you
that
don't need
sounds
to
like
put in.
nothing I want to do. It seems like I'm like the housewife, and
Yeah,
you're
I love it. I
I'm the
keep
housewife, and you're like the husband, bro. You're like,
literally I keep going out and sanding my little thing outside. And I actually it's led to some good because we have shared balconies in the building. So I met our neighbors. I forgot that we had shared balconies. So I was out on the balcony sanding as you do. And I just hear a voice go, "What are you building?" And I was like, "Huh?" And then I was like, "Oh, we have neighbors who also go on this balcony." And then we start talking to them and we meet those neighbors, and then they're like, "We have these other friends in the building." And so then we go to like their apartment, like me and my roommates and a couple of my roommates' friends go to their apartment, and now one of those neighbors is like into one of my roommates' friends, and so like they're talking now, and I'm like, wow, me building my little thing on the
a
balcony,
love
I've
blossom.
just sprouted a relationship. Like I brought these people together.
But yeah, all
So
through
I'm kind of a
sanding.
hero for that. All through my constant
So
incessant
heroic.
sanding. I keep being like, okay, I'm done. This is going to be the last time I put more joint compound. I'm going to paint this and bring it inside. And then I'm like, It's not smooth enough. I want to sand it some more and add some more joint compound.
See, that sounds like nothing I'd ever want to do. But like making like last Thanksgiving, I was literally like, I'll make this, and then
Mm.
and I did it, bro. I made like 5 or 6 items. I made like 2 desserts.
Oh God,
I was in there, bro. I was cooking.
crazy.
I
Let him
was like,
cook.
I got this. You see what I
Could
titled
not be
this?
me.
Cam must cook.
Cam must cook.
That's what this is titled, bro.
I wish I didn't have to eat. I even just like making the sandwich today. I was like, I don't want to. It's like
Bro,
I don't want to do
bro,
this.
it's bread. What was
It's
on your
bread and
sandwich?
turkey and cheese and onions
Yo,
and lettuce.
yo, that's like 5 minutes, bro. That's
It took no time. But then I was like, what if I put I'll put it in I was just like it's too much. I don't want to do this.
yo.
But
That's why with our combined powers we make like the most
yeah.
functional we make the most functional you're like I'm like incredibly timely and you're like nah and you want to build stuff I don't like
Yeah.
we,
You've been like lamenting like putting up your posters again in your room and I'm like I can't stop adding to this wall. Like
dude
I
those posters you
all of my
saw
walls are so like decorated and like I keep yeah, sorry. What were you
those
saying?
posters you saw when you were in my room they're still there. I've not put them up and I've lived here for a good amount of time
I
and I'm
can't stop decorating my room.
the
And I'm
next
theoretically moving out of here in like 3 months and I just keep adding things.
Yo, the next time you come here, you gotta hang my posters, bro.
I will, dude.
The
I want to
next time you come here,
give me more excuses to decorate.
hang my posters up. I think some of them might need reframed. It's like they might need reframed actually because they're like
Hmm.
decrepit. But like, yeah, hang
Yeah.
my posters, bro.
Damn. Oh yeah, the compound is probably dried. I
But
need to film my
yeah,
video, but I can go out on the deck and sand some more first,
Judaism.
and then I'll film my video. Judaism.
Cam is Jewish. Uh, yeah, Cam is talented. Cam is very talented and gifted and smart, bro. Do you think, Cam, bro? Do you think?
Thank you. Aw,
I've
you are too.
and I'm not just saying this for content. Because I've been doing this behind the scenes as well. This is like I feel like I say it more off camera than I do on. I'll be like, cameras off. Time to time to go in on this, bro.
It is. It's very kind. I don't know. I don't know.
But
I appreciate it.
yeah,
All right.
I'm ending this. What makes the whites happy makes the blacks upset.
Be the day that they're gonna throw back to you. By now, I should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.